All right. I think we've got most of our attendees in today, so we will get things kicked off. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for attending today's session. Some of you know me, but if not, I'm James Walstead with Applied Tech. I guess just maybe a little quick blurb about me. I've been in the IT industry for over 30 years now, and I've been applied tech for just over 22 years, actually, as of this month. I do have a background in tech. I've transitioned over the years to the director of sales, and now responsible for really driving new business opportunities at the organization. Just a quick background on Applied Tech. I know several of you in the room today who are existing partners of Applied Tech, but for those of you who are new, quick rundown on Applied Tech before we get into today's session. So we've been in the business. Applied Tech's been around for over 26 years. We've grown to almost 150 employees with our continued focus servicing the small and medium-sized business markets. We do have offices throughout Wisconsin, Madison, Brookfield, and Wausau, and as well as a large presence in the Denver, Colorado market as well. Of course, we do have customers though throughout the U.S. and support around close to 22,000 users through our fully managed and our co-managed services on a daily basis. So big customer base with a large support team managing those user bases. Outside of managed services, which again is the core of our business, we also have a dedicated project team, a dedicated security team, which also manages our annual SOC 2 Type 2 compliance. And we also have other value-add services like hardware and software procurement and consulting. So let's get into it. Today's webinar is on everybody's mind these days, AI, and our session, work smarter with AI, boost productivity, and streamline operations is really designed to give you practical insights on how AI can create immediate value in your business. So our agenda will kind of look like this: how to use AI to tackle complex technical challenges, improve decision making, enhance critical thinking across your teams. And then we'll also review a great framework developed by Ryan himself for writing high impact prompts that deliver relevant and useful outputs every time. So finally, then we'll cover the real risks behind public AI tools and how to mitigate some of those risks. A few housekeeping items before I introduce today's speaker. Q&A, we will be using the Q&A feature throughout today's presentation. You should see the Q&A icon right at the top left or in the top corner of your screen, kind of in the middle. Go ahead and turn that on for today's Q&A. You also want to click that so that it opens up on the side. If you can expand it as well if you need to. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to throw them in there, and then we'll get them answered as best as we can throughout the presentation. We'll also, of course, today's session is for 60 minutes, but we'll have some time at the end. Roughly, we're saving about 10 to 15 minutes for those additional questions or questions we potentially didn't get through during today's presentation. So again, open up that Q&A function as those questions pop up. So with that, let's get started and introduce today's speaker, Ryan Curtis. Ryan is Applied Tech's Director of Business Analytics and Data Insights, and will be taking us through our AI presentation today. Ryan has more than 15 years of experience in IT, starting out as an entry-level tech, working his way up to the ladder to be a senior engineer and taking on various director roles. Ryan's time in the industry has provided some valuable skills from business process improvement, IT service delivery, strategy, operations. But today, Ryan has taken a leadership role within Applied Tech to really drive business analytics, data insights, with a strong focus and passion for artificial intelligence. Excuse me. So with that, Ryan, please kick today's session off for us.
Thanks, James. Again, I'm Ryan Curtis. I lead a team focused on building automation and using robot process automation and AI to streamline operations and reduce friction at Applied Tech. My journey with generative AI started like most people's. I treated it like Google. I'd ask my question and I'd expect a perfect answer. Sometimes it worked, most of the time it didn't. I'd get vague responses and hallucinated facts or just noise, and I started to think, maybe this isn't ready for business. But the issue wasn't the AI, it was the way I was prompting. I was asking it to do complex tasks with zero context. That's when I started experimenting with structure, and over time I developed a framework that changed my results. I call it the prompt primer. It's a simple way to write prompts and get reliable, usable results. Today, I want to share that framework with you and show you how it connects to real business cases, because most companies aren't struggling with AI, they're struggling with how to talk to it. Here's a quick look at what we'll cover today. We'll start with some context on why Gen AI matters and how it's already reshaping business operations. Then we'll look at workforce trends and adoptions, especially in SMBs. After that, we'll break down how Gen AI works and why prompting is the key to getting reliable results. I'll introduce the prompt primer framework and walk you through real demos across different business functions. We'll wrap up with a summary and leave time for questions, as James said. Also, we're going to be running some fun, quick polls throughout the session to get your input. With that, I'm going to hand it off to Danielle for our first poll.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Danielle. I'm the Sales Enablement Specialist here at Applied Tech. We're going to have some fun with Q&A polling today. So if you haven't already clicked on the Q&A icon at the top in the middle of your screen, it's got a little question mark in the bubble, so it'll open up on the side. And we're going to get started with your first question. So the first poll we're taking today is, what is the barrier preventing you from fully adopting AI? And it should pop up in the Q&A here shortly. And what you're going to do is just like the response or react with the emoji that corresponds with your answer.
Looks like we're getting some answers in there, Danielle.
Good. Sorry, mine's not showing.
Lots of reactions for security or privacy concerns.
Ah, there we go. Ooh,
lack
took a
of
second
training.
for mine to show.
Yeah, lack of training and knowledge, as some folks have put. Awesome.
Very cool. Okay, Brian.
Yeah. So we're going to address some of that today. Before we get to how Gen AI works, let's look at the broader picture of how it's already impacting the workforce. There's no single forecasted number, but most estimates suggest 30 to 50% of roles in businesses will be affected by AI in some way. That doesn't mean eliminated, it means changed. Tasks will be automated, roles will be augmented, and some jobs will be redefined entirely. There are estimates that up to 30% of hours worked across the US economy could be automated by 2030. And because SMBs tend to move faster and operate leaner, they're likely to feel this shift sooner. Adoption's already high. 68% of SMBs using AI today, and another 9% are going to start within the year. And here's the key stat amongst all of them. 80% of those using AI say it's enhancing, not replacing their workforce. The adoption is high because the value is immediate. SMBs don't need massive infrastructure or long timelines to start seeing results. AI tools are now accessible and fast to deploy. When teams see that AI can handle routine tasks and free them up for more strategic work, adoption skyrockets. Back to Danielle.
Okay, back again. Another quick poll question. So how often do you use AI for business purposes? And the poll question should show up in your Q&A this time. Let's see how quick it does.
Oh, we invited AI to the meeting today. I like it.
All right. Lots of folks who are used to it. Okay, take it away, Ryan.
Yeah. So, as we were saying, we're seeing a shift in job composition. Roles in office support, customer service, and sales are being restructured. And generative AI skills are showing up in places you wouldn't expect. Marketing, operations, and product management, just to name a few. Since 2022, job postings requiring Gen AI skills in non-IT roles are up 9 times. And over half of that of AI-related job postings are outside of traditional tech. This isn't a future scenario, it's happening right now. And it's why understanding how to use AI, and especially how to prompt it, is becoming a core business skill.
Okay, I'm beginning to become your favorite, right? Next one poll. True or false? AI is always right. Super easy one. Cast your vote now. Super quick question. True, false, or wait, does it matter?
There we go. Wait, does it matter? Yeah, does it matter? Well, I think after we talk about how AI works, it might start to matter. So let's talk about what Gen AI actually is and what it isn't. Gen AI doesn't search for facts. It doesn't know anything in the way we think of knowledge. What it does is word prediction based on patterns it's seen in training data. That training data includes billions of examples of human writing, emails, articles, reports, and conversations. So it's very good at sounding confident, polished, and human. But that confidence is misleading. It's not checking a database. It's not verifying anything. It's just generating what sounds right based on the prompt you gave it. And that's why hallucinations happen. If your prompt is vague or missing context, the AI will fill in the gaps with something that sounds plausible, but might be completely made up. Here's an example. If you ask, what are the renewal terms for this lease? And the lease is missing the terms section altogether, the AI might invent some common clause like auto renews every 12 months. It sounds right, but it's not in the document. This is why prompting matters. The better your prompt, the better your results, and the lower your risk. Back over to Danielle.
Another super easy one. True or false? All AI tools are equally secure. Head on over to the Q&A. We'll give y'all a couple seconds to vote. Click up for new post if it's not showing up right away. True, I trust them like my grandma's cookie recipe. False, some are Fort Knox, others
are Swiss cheese.
Are Swiss cheese.
All right. Well, how can you stay secure when using AI? Let's address that. This is where a lot of businesses are getting tripped up. First, the basics. If you're using AI in your business, use enterprise-grade platforms. That means tools like Azure OpenAI or Microsoft Copilot, just to name a few. Those tools are designed with data privacy and compliance in mind. Don't use public tools like free ChatGPT or Gemini for anything that involving client or proprietary data. Those models may use your data to further train their model. Second, be intentional about what you put into a prompt. Don't include names, financials, or anything sensitive unless you're working in a secure tenant-based environment. And then, even then, review your output before you share it. AI can generate content that sounds right, but isn't. Security isn't about the platform, isn't just about the platform. It's about how you use it. That includes how you prompt and what you share and what you trust. Train your teams to treat AI like a smart, unreliable intern. Helpful fast, but it always needs supervision.
Here we go again, but this is a fun one. Do you have a name for your AI? And if so, we'd love for you to put it in the chat. I won't mention who, but someone on staff does have the name Regina George for their AI.
All right, some answers in here. No one commenting on what they're naming their AI yet? No, I'll look back at that in a minute.
No AI names?
Marketing Midge, I like it.
I mean, I will just say I am Regina George for my AI. I will just claim it, yes, because she makes me mad sometimes. But I also have Marketing Midge and HubSpot Harry for agents.
Yep. All right. Why does good prompting matter? Because it's the difference between getting something useful and getting something generic, vague, or flat out wrong. Gen AI doesn't know your business. It only knows what you tell it. If your prompt is clear, structured, and specific, the output will reflect that. If it's vague or missing context, the AI will guess, and that's where the risk creeps in. This is where most businesses are right now. They're not trying to build AI agents, not deploying full automation. They're just trying to get their prompts right. And that's exactly where they should be. Let me show you the difference between a bad prompt and a good one. Here's the bad version. Summarize this contract. That's vague. There's no role, no audience, no expectation. The AI doesn't know who it's speaking for or who it's speaking to. The result might be generic, incomplete, or even misleading. Now here's the good version. Act as a legal advisor. Summarize the key risks in the lease for a small business owner. Ask for missing info and recommend negotiation points. That's structured. It defines the role, the task, the audience, and the output. It even allows the AI to ask for clarity. The result is relevant, usable, and aligned with the business need. Prompting is how you control AI. It's also how you reduce risk, improve reliability, and get value. If you want AI to work in operations, this is a skill you and your teams need to master first. As I mentioned before, when I first started using Gen AI, I treated it like a search engine. Years of experience with using Google taught me to keep queries short and focused. But that didn't work here. I noticed something counterintuitive. The more context I gave, the better the output. So that flipped my thinking, and I realized that Gen AI isn't confused by detail, it actually thrives on it. At first, I was inconsistent with structure. Sometimes I'd tell the AI to act as an expert, other times I'd just give it the task. The results were mixed, but when I started combining the role and task, things clicked. I saw that giving clear instructions, who the AI should be, and what it should do, made the output more relevant and useful. Then I started front-loading everything, the role, the task, the audience, the format, the tone, and it also dumped the data in the same prompt. That worked better, but it was still missing something. Eventually, I realized that I was skipping one of the most powerful features of Gen AI, its ability to process my request and ask for information. So I split the process. First, in the first prompt, all the instructions, and in the second prompt, the data. That gave the AI room to clarify, tailor, and adapt. Around that time, I started looking at how other people were structuring their prompts. I borrowed what worked, I dropped what didn't, and I built a framework that gave me consistent, reliable results. And that's how the prompt primer came together. It's not theoretical, it's built from trial and error and real business use. I chose the components I use most, role, task, audience, and output. Then I added clarity, recommendations, because they unlock smarter behavior. Then when I started using this with my team, the difference was obvious. We went from correcting about half of the output to maybe only 10%. Now, let's walk through the framework itself. These are the core components. Role. Who should the AI act as? A legal advisor? A customer service rep? A marketing writer? Task. What exactly you want the AI to do? Audience. Who's the output for? A client? A CFO? A frontline employee? Output. What format or tone do you expect? A summary, a table, a friendly email? And there are some optional enhancements. Clarity. Let the AI ask you questions if it's missing something. Recommendations. Ask the AI for suggestions if they make sense for the task. Interview me. This is a powerful one. Let the AI ask exploratory questions to generate the output you defined. Additional instructions. Add any constraints, preferences, or context that might shape the result. This component can be used at any time, even outside the prompt primer. This structure works across all facets of business. It's not just about getting clear, better results. It's about getting answers that you can trust and use.
So
Back to you,
this is an
Danielle.
easy one. Thank you. There are no wrong answers on this one. In the Q&A, what department do you represent here today? If your department's not listed there, go ahead and comment below and let us know.
We have some IT out there, marketing, operations. Okay.
Okay.
So now we've talked about the prompt primer. Let's walk through some real world examples using it. This is a customer escalation. The client is frustrated and we need to respond quickly and professionally. If we just told the AI, write a response, it might miss the tone, the urgency, or the business context. But with a structured prompt, we define the role, the customer service lead. We define the task, draft a response. We specify the audience, a frustrated client. And we ask for a clear, polite email. And we allow the AI to ask for clarity or make recommendations if it makes sense. Then we give it the data, the customer's message, the order status, and their tier. The result is a response that's not just grammatically correct, it's aligned with our brand, our tone, and our priorities. Next, this is a great example of how AI can support operational decision making. We're comparing vendor quotes. If we ask the AI which vendor is best, we'll get a vague answer, or worse, one that's based on the wrong priorities. But with a structured prompt, we define the role as a procurement analyst, and we define the task to compare quotes. We specify the audience, our operations team, and we ask for a table, and we tell the AI what matters most, speed and reliability. Then we give it the data. The result is a clear, structured recommendation that aligns with the business priorities. And if something's missing, like a reliability score or a delivery window, the AI can ask for it. This is how you move your results from interesting to useful. All right, I'm gonna throw it back over to Danielle.
You're not tired of me, right? It's either I interrupt with a poll question or I start doing karaoke. And trust me, you do not want that.
Poll question.
Exactly. So what have you recently used AI for?
Oh, we got some coding, some troubleshooting, like it.
Nice. Okay, take it away, Ryan.
All right. So let's look at another example. This example shows how AI can assist with contract review. That's something that's time consuming and often expensive. We are reviewing a lease for risks. If we had just asked the AI to review this lease, we're going to get a generic summary. But with a structured prompt, we define the role as a legal advisor. We define the task to summarize the key risks, and we specify the audience, a small business owner, and we ask for a bulleted point list, and we allow the AI to ask for missing sections or recommend negotiation points if they're relevant. Then we give it the data, either a pasted text or a file, and tell it what to focus on, indemnity, termination, and maintenance. The result is a concise, relevant summary that helps the business owner understand what's at stake and where to push back. This is not a replacement for legal review, but it's a huge time saver and a great first pass. Another example, this example shows how AI can support marketing and communication, especially when speed and consistency matters. We're writing a LinkedIn post announcing a new product launch. If we just say, write a LinkedIn post, the AI might give us something generic or off-brand. But with a structured prompt, we define the role as a marketing copywriter. We define the task, draft a LinkedIn post. We specify the audience, SMB owners, and we ask for a specific format, 3 paragraphs with a benefit and a call to action. And we allow the AI to ask for missing product details or suggest hashtags. Then we give it the context, what the product is, when it's launching, and what the benefit is and the tone we want. The result is not just a well-written it's not just well written, it's aligned with the message, the audience, and the business goal. This is how you can scale content creation without sacrificing quality. All right,
That's a
back
great
to Danielle.
Okay, another fun part where simply posting your opinion makes you feel super accomplished. Does your company have an AI policy in place currently? While you're thinking about that one, does your children's school have an AI policy in place currently?
Yeah.
Keep that one in your back pocket.
Yep. This is becoming an interesting, definitely becoming an interesting topic among businesses and schools. With all those AI tools available, there's this thing called shadow AI that's starting to come up. That's synonymous with how we refer to shadow technology. Stuff, platforms that are used that are outside of the internal IT's purview.
Mm-hmm.
And an AI policy is where you can define those things. Looks like
we got a handbook thicker than a phone book. I love that.
Yep.
I'm sure you know that policy word for word too.
All right. And this final example shows how AI can support internal documentation, something most teams struggle to keep current. We're creating an SOP, and if we just say, write an SOP for onboarding, the AI is going to guess. It might get close, but it won't be accurate or tailored to our business. Instead, we use a structured prompt. We define the role, process documentation specialist. We define the task, create an SOP. We specify the audience as our internal team, and we ask for a specific output, summary, scope, steps, and business impact. And then we tell the AI to interview us one question at a time. This turns the AI into a guided assistant. It doesn't just assume, it asks. And as we answer, it builds the document in real time. The result is something that's not just well written, it's accurate, complete, and aligned with how we actually work. This is how you can scale documentation without losing quality. And it's a great example of how prompt structure drives better collaboration between humans and AI. All right. All right. I want to apologize for the wall of text here. I know it's not ideal visually, but I wanted to show you the full prompt exactly as I use it. It's long, but every part of it matters. This is a real example of how far you can take prompting when you want Gen AI to do more than just assist. We've talked about the prompt primer and how structured prompting improves reliability, relevance, and business value. But I want to show you how far you can actually take it. This is an advanced prompt I use when I want AI to do more than just generate ideas. I want it to challenge me, not just assist, but collaborate, not just respond, but push back. Let's walk through what this prompt does. First, it sets a clear role. The AI is an expert in brainstorming and collaborative idea building. That's not just a label, that's a behavioral cue. It tells the AI how to think and respond. Then it defines the task. Help me brainstorm, ask questions, and offer ideas. But it goes further. It sets expectations for tone, intellectual vigor, and for how the AI should handle disagreement. It tells the AI not to affirm, but to challenge, to question assumptions and check reasoning, and suggest alternative angles. This is a very different kind of interaction than just asking for a list of ideas. This prompt also defines the output style. It strips off fluff, hype, and filler. It asks for clear, concise, human-sounding language. That matters when you're using AI to support decision-making. Clarity is non-negotiable. You don't want marketing language. You want something you can trust and act on. This kind of prompt turns generative AI into a thinking partner, and it shows how flexible prompting can be. You're not limited to summaries or tables. You can shape the AI's behavior, tone, and logic. You can make it rigorous, skeptical, and constructive. That's the next level of prompting. And this is where the real value starts to show up. We've covered a lot today. We looked at how Gen AI is already reshaping business operations, not by replacing jobs, but by shifting them to a higher value work. We talked about how adoption is high, especially in SMB, and how AI is showing up in roles far beyond IT. We broke down how AI actually works and why hallucinations happen, and why prompting is the key to getting reliable results. Then we walked through the prompt primer framework: role, task, audience, output, plus clarity and recommendations, and saw how prompting drives better outcomes across customer service, procurement, legal, and marketing and operations. If there's one takeaway, it's this: prompting isn't a technical trick. It's a business skill, and it's the foundation for what's coming next: agentic AI, autonomous workflows, and AI that doesn't just respond, but acts. Thanks again for being here. We're happy to take questions or talk more about how this applies to your businesses.
Hey, Ryan, I have a question actually, and it's kind of a repeat, as you know, people are putting maybe questions into chat. One of the things that you had to educate me on in the last week or two, embarrassingly enough, is basically the security risks behind the walls. And so what are the duh moments that we all probably think that we know, but maybe not all of us do know, of what should you be very cautious of putting into a free version? And if I do the paid version, can I then put that stuff in there?
Yeah. So generally speaking, and I'm just making a very general statement,
sure.
Is if you're paying for it, you're probably in a safe spot that your data is isolated from training the greater model.
Okay.
So that's one takeaway. And then if you are using a free ChatGPT, or for example, if you can still use it if you use generic language. Just try to strip out the proprietary business processes or customer names or financial data, and ask the general questions. You're still going to get good results. It's just not going to be tailored to exactly to your business, so to speak, on things it just doesn't know. But the worst case scenario is you put in your data, and let's just say you're in marketing, Jenny.
Yeah.
So let's just say we put in marketing data. If another marketer prompts correctly,
yep.
They may get our data returned to them.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking is if I used it for ad copy, or if anybody in this room, your team's using it for ad copy, or if SOPs, right? Just creating business processes, but you would use your company name. Could then other people then find your standard operating procedures if you're doing that on a free version and using the company's actual legal name in the prompts?
Right. Yeah, and I would say if you're be careful with your process stuff, because if it's proprietary, you're gonna, that will definitely be used back in the retraining the model.
Okay.
And your proprietary process may end up being given to somebody else, just as the AI learns about it.
Understood. Okay, thanks, Ryan, for just the clarification.
Yeah.
And any questions, for sure, put them in the Q&A section and we'll get them answered.
Oh, no questions, Ryan.
I'm Ryan, you did such a good job. Or we can mute everyone. One of the two.
Looks like Noah. Noah just put in a question.
Oh, great. Okay. Shoot, my Q&A's behind.
Yeah, what would you say? Mine's behind it too.
I'll go for it. What would you say to leadership who is hesitant to pay for AI tools due to price versus ROI? Or do you have any advice to measuring ROI for leadership when you start using generative AI?
That's a fantastic question.
Yes, it is.
The most obvious ROI to really start with is time. Okay, time saved. I would say that's the lowest hanging fruit. when you're looking for ROI measurements. And so one of the things we do here is when we're automating something or using AI in that fashion to speed up a process, we look at the manual time it takes from start to finish, and then we put whatever AI components in place, and we then measure it again. And each of those interactions that require that AI process to go, we count the difference between what the manual time was to what the difference between the manual time and the automated time, and that's our time saved. And you can then equate that to payroll or whatever you want, but that's how you can convert that to dollars and understand ROI. There are other ways to do it, but that's, breaking into AI and using it, that's probably the easiest and fastest way to start calculating ROI. And for $20 a month for like a ChatGPT license, or or $30 a month for a Copilot license, it's not that hard to show ROI quickly, a positive ROI quickly.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, we did get another question from the group. Is there AI prompting for dummies book out there? And maybe another way of asking that is
That's great.
how does somebody get started with AI, right? Like, just the basics, right? And where can they go to find those resources?
So AI is moving. I think everybody's aware, but AI is moving at light speed right now. So even things like from ChatGPT 4, and now that they've come out with 5, even prompting has changed there. So like a For Dummies book would get outdated pretty quickly. So there are some newsletters. I mean, if you're on LinkedIn, there are some great groups that really keep up, with posting new and better ways to prompt. That's a lot of where, like, when I was describing when I was building the prompt hire and trying to figure out how this all worked, a lot of the information I got was from those groups. But there are newsletters and groups that you can that get sent out weekly these days, just to keep up on just keeping you abreast of what everything that's going on, informed with everything that's going on in the AI world. And a lot of them are focused on prompting and just what beginners need to know about. I tell you what, I can work with Danielle, Olivia, and Jenny to kind of get a list of what I look at, and happy to share that.
Ryan, can I use AI to learn how to write AI for dummies? We'll say, right? Can I
I love it.
Yes. What would those prompts kind of look like?
Yes.
If you had to throw a couple of those out there?
So let's just use the prompt primer as the framework we're going to use. So I would mark it as act as an expert in AI prompting, and it can be that generic. And then you can set the audience as yourself, but also describe, where you sit in the scale of knowledge. So you could say, I'm a beginner, or I'm an intermediate AI user. And then you can say, your task is to help me structure better prompts so that AI, like yourself, would understand them. And then you can say, my output will be, I need a step-by-step layout or structure, or I'm going to give you what I think is a good prompt. Will you convert it into one that you would understand better? I'm not joking that we do this at Applied Tech all the time when we're using when we're putting because we're so far now that we're actually taking AI prompts and we're making them do things. So like for example, we might prioritize a ticket, right? Well, we'll actually feed that prompt into a prompt similar to what I just described, and tell it to give us the most efficient prompt that an AI agent would understand. And so you can pre-process your prompts with AI, which is kind of a wild thing to think about, but it does work.
A funny and very similar comment that you are just mentioning, Ryan, is on our poll, does your company have an AI policy in place? One of the comments from one of our participants, Brian, I won't even attempt to say your last name, I'm sorry. But Valerie commented that we are working on one, and Brian said, hot tip, that AI can certainly help you write an AI policy for you.
That is
so
absolutely true.
He said that's how we started.
Want, but yeah.
Exactly. He said that's how we started ours. And, you know, I laughed about it, but it's so true. And so it's exactly what you're explaining right now.
Yeah.
So great job, Brian.
Back to how the model works. So remember, it's just word prediction, but it's been trained on just so much data that you're going to get chunks and pieces of other people's hard work, and it's kind of a shortcut to, like, you don't have to start from scratch. It'll write a kind of a generic business policy, and then you can turn it around and use AI to tailor it. Say, you can respond back after the initial prompt and the output. You can say, I don't like this section, or can we adjust this section to include these points, something that's tailored to your business, and it'll keep reworking that policy or document, and that works across not just policies, but anything you're doing. You know, there's this interaction even after the initial prompt and prompt primer that you can still continue to tailor and say, hey, I need you to incorporate this information, or can you change this, or can you add so-and-so. So remember that it's not over after that first prompt. You can tailor the output even further with consecutive prompts.
And Ryan, also an important thing that, you know, was a learning moment was voice activation is super helpful. You can now use that on, you know, as a prompter. So if you don't want to type it out, or if you're better at just speaking out prompts, that's fabulous. The other piece too is like being able to upload a screenshot. I needed an SOP for something in our CRM, and I thought it was going to be a lengthy process to do so. And just by doing a 30-second voice definition and uploading the screenshot of the piece of the CRM I wanted the SOP on, it literally pumped out exactly what I would have wished I could have done, but much, much better.
Yeah. And you know, that how long, and again, back to the ROI question.
Yeah, it took 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Literally.
And if you would have sat down and written that manually, how much time would you think it would take?
That's taken, I think everyone in this room probably has written an SOP at some point or multiple. And when you sit down with that blank page, it's hours taking the screenshots and having to insert them, and step 1, step 2, going through it in that way. And so now you can get the initial document in less than a minute. And then obviously you want to take a little bit of time to review it and have the human aspect or human touch to that. But yeah, we're speaking in under 30 minutes for a perfect piece of you know, policy to go in somewhere.
Right. So at the very worst, you save for 50% of your time if it took an hour, right? So
for sure.
So that's where, like, to the question about ROI, that's how we would start looking at these things, is we reframe. Like Jenny, it would have taken her an hour to sit down, but instead she used AI, and with 15 or 20 more minutes of after the AI generated it, she's got a document that would have taken her an hour to produce. The difference between that time is your ROI.
Well, and then you take your hourly, and you've just paid probably for your monthly subscription in less than one project.
Yeah, exactly. Any other questions out there?
I did want to call out Katie Long did put a comment in there, just so you saw it, Ryan. I know that you're probably on Do Not Disturb, so you might not have all the chat things moving. But she had said, I have found that some prompt coaches in ChatGPT, where it will actually evaluate your initial written prompt and then give you feedback on how you can improve.
Yes.
You know, and so there's some conversation going there.
Yeah, and I suspect we're going to see more tools like that at our disposal as things continue to evolve with the AI. So it doesn't surprise me. You know, you can build your own, but the coaches I've tried, and they're pretty good. Definitely a resource worth using. Well, perfect. Is there any other questions?
I don't think so.
Yeah, if not, we can certainly wrap up. But Ryan, you did. We will, as we mentioned before, make the presentation available to all the attendees today, and certainly reach out to anyone on the team if you have any other additional follow-up questions. And again, thank you everybody for attending, and hopefully you got some good value today.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks everybody.
Thanks all.
Yep. Bye.